Picture this. He is quite literally the most hated man on the pitch. Every single week, 60,000 people in the stadium and tens of millions more watching at home are all staring at him, waiting for just one thing: his mistake.
Players are screaming right in his face. Managers are calling for his head. His name is already trending online before the final whistle even blows. But here is the part that nobody really talks about. For all of that intense pressure, he might actually be taking home £250,000 a year, and almost no one in the football world knows it. But here's the twist that makes his whole story so fascinating. The man standing in the middle of the biggest league on earth, he's the exception. Right below him sit thousands of referees who earn almost nothing at all. Guys who blow the whistle on a Sunday morning and then clock into a normal day job on Monday. So, how much does a referee actually earn? Stick with me for this explainer because the answer is way more bizarre than you'd think.
Part 1. The big reveal. What a Premier League ref really makes. Alright, let's start right at the top with the Premier League. These officials belong to a super elite squad called Select Group 1, and the way they get paid actually comes in two parts: a base salary and then a fee for every single match they referee.
So, that base salary sits on a sliding scale based on experience. A newer referee in the group starts out making around £72,000 to £80,000 a year. Not bad, right? Then, mid-level officials climb up to roughly £90,000 to £120,000. And those highly trusted senior officials, they're pulling in up to £148,000. And remember, that's before they have even officiated a single game.
Then you add on the match fee. We're talking around £1,100 to £1,500 for every single game. So if a referee handles about 30 matches in a season, that really stacks up on top of their base pay. When you add it all together, the average Premier League referee is earning somewhere around £180,000 a year.
And the absolute best of the best? The names you see reffing the Champions League, the big cup finals, the massive title deciders, they can actually reach £250,000 a year. That is the huge secret most fans never realize. Refereeing, at the very top level, is a genuinely lucrative, well-paid profession. But before you go out and buy a whistle, there's a massive catch that changes absolutely everything.
Here is what almost everybody gets wrong about this. People just assume referees are part-timers with regular day jobs. Now, for the Premier League, that's a total myth. Since 2001, the top English referees have actually been full-time professionals, employed by an organization called PGMOL. Being a referee is their entire career.
But if you rewind just one generation, the picture was completely different. Take Mike Dean, for example. He's easily one of the most famous referees England has ever produced. But before he became the league's highest-paid official, he was actually working in a chicken processing plant. Teachers, police officers, accountants. That's exactly who used to run the lines on a Saturday afternoon.
And what about below that elite tier? Well, that old-school world still exists today. There are literally tens of thousands of referees working in the football pyramid who are earning maybe £25 a match. Some are even officiating for absolutely zero pay. They're just doing it for the love of the game while working totally separate full-time jobs. That guy earning $250,000, he's one in thousands. For almost everyone else, blowing that whistle is just a hobby that barely even covers the petrol to drive to the pitch. So this forgotten salary of football isn't just one single number. It's a massive chasm between the few guys at the summit and the giant army holding the game together at the bottom.
So, we know England pays its top guys really well, but does it pay the best? Let's settle this. We're putting 5 of the biggest leagues in the world head-to-head. First up, the surprise winner when it comes to average pay: Spain. La Liga actually pays every single referee the exact same flat salary, which is around £124,000. Plus, they get a match fee of more than £4,000 per game. Some reports even estimate a top Spanish referee's total package at between €260,000 and €300,000 a year. So on average, Spanish referees are definitely the best paid in Europe.
Let's see how the rest of the continent stacks up. England comes in second, but with a slight twist. The Premier League has the highest potential ceiling, thanks to that sliding scale we talked about that tops out near £148,000, plus those match fees and European bonuses. So, Spain wins on the average pay, but England wins out at the absolute top end. Then, the numbers drop off. Italy's Serie A referees earn roughly £77,000. France's League One officials make about $66,000 to $67,000, though to be fair, their match fees are pretty generous. And coming in last place for base pay, Germany. The Bundesliga starts as low as £53,000, but here's the kicker. They pay one of the highest match fees in Europe, nearly £5,000 a game. So a busy German referee can close that gap really fast. The big takeaway here, There is no such thing as a standard referee salary. It totally depends on which league's jersey you wear and how they balance base pay versus match fees.
Part 2. The hidden costs. The iceberg below the salary. Because look, making a big salary isn't the same as pure profit. Being an elite referee comes with a serious price. It's the part of the job you never actually see on a Saturday afternoon. First off, there's the physical toll on the body. A top referee is running between 10 and 13 kilometers in a single match. Think about that. That is more than a lot of the players. To keep up that pace, they have to train like professional athletes year-round. We're talking intense gym sessions, sprint work, strict diets, and mandatory fitness tests they absolutely must pass to keep their job. There is literally no off-season for their legs. Then you have the new job inside the job, VAR. Modern officials are spending hours every single week studying the laws of the game, reviewing footage, and training on the video system. Just one frame or one single millimeter can decide a title race or a relegation battle. And the public abuse that follows those decisions, it lands squarely on their shoulders. Add to that the relentless travel. Reffing across the country and across Europe means constantly being away from family, taking early morning flights, and driving home late at night. That salary might look massive. Until you subtract the life it quietly eats away. So, knowing all that, where does the really life-changing money hide? Honestly, it's not even in the domestic leagues at all. The real money is found on the big European and international nights. If a top referee officiates an elite European match, they can pocket around 7,000 euros, and that's just for one single game. That is exactly why every referee dreams of getting selected for those midweek European nights under the lights. It's not just about the prestige, it's a massive cash bonus layered right on top of their day job. And then we reach the absolute summit of the entire profession, the World Cup. Back at the 2022 tournament, the selected referees reportedly received a participation fee of around $70,000, and that was literally just for being chosen to go. On top of that, they get a fee for every match they do. Group stage games paid out a few $1,000s each, and the knockout matches paid significantly more. When you put all of that together, a referee who gets to work deep into the tournament, going all the way to the final, could earn up to around $300,000 from that one World Cup alone. That means in one single summer, they can out-earn their entire season back home. That right there is the ultimate prize at the very top of the mountain. Part 3. The saddest twist, why great referees quit. Because if the money at the top is really this good, you have to ask, why are some of the absolute best referees in the world just walking away from it all? Well, the first reason is the one we touched on earlier, the abuse. For a lot of these officials, there is simply no salary in the world that makes up for the relentless hostility. The death threats, the constant trending mockery online, the terrifying feeling that one single human error is going to follow you around for years. Every week, their split-second decisions are turned into internet memes, the players rage at them, the fans pile on, and the intense scrutiny just never stops. Think about it. There aren't many jobs on Earth where you're actively insulted by millions of people for almost your entire working day. That is the real price tag of the job, and you won't see that written on any payslip. The second big reason is a matter of perspective. Sure, a top referee can earn £250,000 a year, but some Premier League players are earning that exact same amount in a single week. The very players that a referee has to try and control for 90 minutes can easily out-earn his entire yearly salary in just 7 days. Despite all the authority and responsibility the ref holds on the pitch, that financial gap can feel pretty impossible to swallow. And then, there's the money they are no longer even allowed to make. Up until recently, English referees could actually top up their income by flying out and officiating highly lucrative matches abroad in foreign leagues. But since 2023, that door has been firmly shut over conflict of interest concerns, which quietly removed a really solid source of extra earnings for them. So picture the reality. You have a job with brutal physical demands, relentless public hatred, sacrificing family time to travel constantly, and a salary that, when you stand next to the players, can feel almost invisible. Honestly, it's no wonder some of the finest officials in the game eventually decide that blowing the whistle just isn't worth it anymore.
So, how much does a referee actually earn? Well, at the very top, it's a small fortune that most fans would never even imagine. But at the bottom, it's almost nothing at all. It is a profession of absolute extremes, completely hidden in plain sight every single week. So the next time you find yourself screaming at the man in the middle of the pitch, just try to remember, he probably ran further than half the team. He trained all week just like a pro athlete. He sacrificed his weekend and his peace of mind to be there. And Depending on exactly where he stands in the football pyramid, he might be earning less in an entire year than the player he's penalizing earns in a single day. The referee isn't just the most hated man in football, he might actually be the most misunderstood.
If this explainer completely changed how you see the game, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because next time we are breaking down the crazy football salaries the industry really doesn't want you to see. But I'll leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Would you referee a Premier League match for £250,000 a year, knowing that 60,000 people would be screaming at you the entire time? Let me know.